Hey guys, it's Matt here, and welcome to another episode of Matt Rants. And before we begin, I want to mention a few things. So first of all, I don't know if you guys can hear my neighbors blasting Spanish music. If you can, awesome. It's something that I cannot control. I don't know my neighbors very well. I hear that them saying happy birthday, so I think it's someone's birthday. Happy birthday to whoever you are. Maybe one day you'll listen to this. Either way, it's some really good music. As someone who is Hispanic, I am actually getting my hips are moving to the beat. I have to stop myself because I have to do this Matt Rants for you guys. It's really good music, but I can't actually jam to it right now. So let's talk about the topic of for today. Actually, no, before we talk about the topic, this very controversial topic that everyone's going to love my take on. I want to mention that I want to thank you all so much for listening in. I always do thank you guys for listening in. I thank new subscribers or subscribers in general. But the reason why I'm thanking you guys today is because of the fact that I got a lot of new subscribers recently. Maybe some of you guys will drop off after this video, but I got some new subscribers. And I think that's really cool that one of my videos actually managed to hit. It was the Spyro Reignited Trilogy rant. You can definitely check that out after this video. But honestly, I'm shocked. I didn't hate the video. I just didn't think that would be the one video that would out of nowhere just skyrocket, and a bunch of you guys really enjoyed that video, got a lot of comments on that video. And even if you disagree with me, I would love to get your comments on this video, but please stay till the end of the video until you comment. And the reason why is I'm going to go over a few rules, if you will, not rules to commenting, but like things that I believe that I think will immediately, before you comment and go, oh, so are you trying to make this argument, I'm actually going to counter that probably before you even type it out. So I don't want you to actually waste your time by, commenting in the first 5 minutes, something that I actually end up talking about later on in the video. So what are we talking about right now? So we're talking about Ninja's recent comments. The question of the video is, are Ninja's recent comments sexist? Now, I'll talk about the comments in a second. Before I do, I want to mention some of these ground rules that I mentioned literally just a minute ago. So the first one is, sexist comments don't often mean a sexist person. So what I mean by that is, I don't know Ninja personally, never met the guy, I never even watched one of his streams, never played Fortnite, so I don't want to sit here, I don't know about his past in terms of, what he said on streams and things like that. All I know is the comments that he currently made, and so I don't want to judge him as I know someone is based, or someone is made up of their past and current comments. Yes, their past comments, if they apologize for them, if they were bad comments, they can be erased, but these comments are ones that he literally just made, so we can critique these comments, but at the same time, because I don't know the guy, because I've never seen anything the guy's ever done, I don't know what he might do on the side. He might give all of his money to charity, right? And again, he can still do terrible things even with giving money to charity. There have been celebrities, people who have done terrible things and still have money given to, charities and other things like that. So I'm just trying to say that if we judge his comments today, that doesn't necessarily mean, oh, he is just the worst, the most sexist of all of the sexists. That doesn't necessarily mean that. I don't know him. All I know is the comments that he currently made. So let's move on to ground rule number 2. Free speech doesn't equal freedom of consequence. So what does that mean? So I think some people online, a fair amount of people online, think that freedom of speech, someone's freedom to say whatever they would like, other than, of course, hate, things that can incite violence, things that can be considered hate speech, things like that. And even with hate speech, it's not like the government can necessarily censor you with that. But still, the point is that when it comes to freedom of speech, Ninja can say whatever he likes, but that does not mean that my freedom of speech or someone else's freedom of speech in the comment section down below, or on Twitter, or on other YouTube videos, they are censored or they cannot speak due to the fact that Ninja has spoken, right? That's not how it works. No person, be it celebrity, be it non-celebrity, or be it in this weird middle ground that I'm in, where I'm just yelling into the void that is YouTube, that does not mean that because I say this video, now it's like, and none of you can critique me on this, otherwise you're hindering my freedom of speech. That actually is not the case whatsoever. Not how freedom of speech works. Freedom of speech is protection from the government, and the government censoring you and stopping you from speaking. That's freedom of speech. When a corporation comes in, or just even taking corporations out of this, because I'm not a corporation, you guys in the comments are not corporations, I would hope. I would imagine, right? It would be really weird getting corporations commenting in YouTube comments that aren't on their own videos, but still, we are corporations, but as people, we are allowed to say, hey, Ninja, why? Or, hey, Ninja, I agree, right? We are allowed to do that. So, and he is allowed to speak. I'm allowed to speak. We are allowed to speak as long as we are not inciting violence. So just wanted to make that clear because I do think down below some of you guys will probably say something along the lines of, he has the freedom to say whatever he likes. So I do want to point that out immediately. Also, some of you saying, well, you want to throw freedom aside. He's allowed to make any decision he wants to. Well, frankly, he is. But again, that doesn't mean that he can't be open to criticism. Not open as in he has to accept the criticism, but he is a public figure. And the things that we're criticizing him on, or I think some people on the internet are criticizing him on, it's not like we're saying things like, oh, it's not like we're looking at him and going, oh yeah, well, we're using slurs or using anything that, involves him hurting himself or harming himself or, taking his own life or anything like that. No one is saying that as far as I've seen. At least as far as I've seen, no one has said that. So we should note that as a public figure, I'm not saying he should be open to getting shit on or should be open to, or not him being open to, but that it's okay for him to get shit on. It's okay for him to receive death threats or anything like that. In fact, I think like many YouTube creators out there, maybe most, I think I would speak for most, saying that we're anti-death threat. We do not like receiving them or having them be given to other people. So in no way do I think he deserves that type of criticism, and no one watching or listening to this video should think, oh, great, so I should go and do that to him. I should go and threaten his life, threaten his wife, threaten his, his family. No, or his wife's family. No, don't do that. Do not do that. So when it comes to that kind of criticism, that's not criticism, that's death threats, that's hate speech, that's arguably hate speech. No, don't do that. However, because he is a public figure, while he's allowed to make these decisions, not because he's a public figure, of course, but it's not necessarily his company, it's not his corporation, it's just him online. Yes, he's allowed to make the decision, but like some of you guys don't know me personally, but to some of you that are listening in, those people know that while sometimes I'm not even criticizing someone's decision, I'm criticizing why they make that decision and their reasons for coming out and making that decision. So let's say, right, here's an example, right? So example, someone says to me, hey, Matt, I don't like you. I don't like your YouTube channel. I'll go, okay, that's fine. Right? They say, I don't like the way you speak. I think you speak too long. Maybe sometimes you're a bit too short, with how you speak on something. Okay, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem if someone says, I don't like your YouTube channel because you're too tall. It's like, wait a minute, no, maybe you've seen some of my videos. Some of you guys totally should check out other videos on the channel. You see me in relation to other people. You see me in general. I am a very short man. So it just is factually untrue to say, I don't like you because you're tall. Now, again, and then when I combat that verbally, I'm like, hey, what are you talking about? You can't, then someone will say to me, oh, are you saying he can't, he has to like your channel? Everyone has to like your channel? No. You can make the decision to not like my YouTube channel, but your reasoning based on the fact that I am too tall is very confusing when that just isn't the case. So anyway, we've gone through all of those ground rules, right? All those ground rules. So before we actually get to my main points in regards to, whether or not Ninja's comments are sexist, let's actually talk about the comments themselves. Actually, before we move on to the comments, let's actually mention who Ninja is. So I think some people listening or watching do know who Ninja is, but in the off chance that you don't, you think that I've just been talking about generic ninjas and how they feel about streaming with women, live streaming, video games with women. I'm actually talking about Ninja, real name Tyler Blevins. He's married to a woman who is, I believe, she's also a streamer as well. Don't have her name on, Jessica Blevins, or Jay Ghosty. So if you like her content, or if you want to go check out her content, you totally can too. I don't know what it entails. I don't know if it's good or bad. I know nothing about her. But what I do know is that recently, so that is who Ninja is. Ninja is a Twitch streamer. Very, very, very popular. More popular than I think I will ever be. And I've had visions of, I have delusions of grandeur, don't worry. But I think that he is probably more popular than I may ever be. So, that is Ninja. And the thing that Ninja said recently, so basically what he had said, so I'm going to try to get his exact quotes. The different articles will be, as always, posted in the comment section down below. I'm sorry, in the description box down below. But one is, if I have one conversation, and by the way, I would like to mention, actually, sorry, some of you guys are like, come on, get to the comments. He said this in public at a Samsung event in New York. This wasn't a private conversation, nothing like that. None of those potential rules that some people have about private conversations can apply. So, if I have one conversation with one female streamer and we're playing with one another, and even if there's a hint of flirting, that is going to be taken and going to be put on every single video and be clickbait forever. And that is a reference to both what'll happen to him, but also what'll happen to that streamer as well, that female streamer, because we cannot deny that online yes, male streamers, yes, male content creators, male celebrities in general do get shit on, do get death threats. We cannot deny that happens. But we also cannot deny that happens to women as well in the entertainment industry, and sometimes even worse, and with even more vitriol just for existing, not even for playing, in the case of video games, not even for playing poorly, just by playing in general. That does happen. You might not do it, and if you don't do it, you're awesome. If you know someone that doesn't do it, that person might be awesome too. But it does happen, especially with the anonymity of the internet and the way people can just kind of slip into these personas online, even if they don't believe it, even if they're trolling. No one knows if a death threat is trolling, and that kind of is something that really is a different topic altogether for a different video, but again is another kind of ground rule or groundwork that we have to lay here, that we have to kind of understand when Ninja makes this comment. So another thing he mentioned is, he said that it's not about his wife, in the sense that his wife didn't step in and say, don't play with female streamers. He said that that was not even her. She had nothing to do with it. That was me being, I love our relationship, and no, I'm not even going to put you through that. Now, put you through that just means that because she is also a content creator as well online, what people have done in the past is something that I actually didn't know earlier on. I mean, I could imagine some people would do stuff like this, but I didn't realize this. People would make photoshops of women who look like the women that would be streaming with another content creator, not with Ninja apparently, but with other content creators, and get thrown around saying, hey, did you know that she's sleeping with that content creator? Look, here's this adult film actress being photoshopped in a certain way, or something along those lines. Crazy stuff. Jesus H. Christ. Another thing I would like to say, I mentioned the death threats earlier. Don't fucking do that either. I feel like it should be common sense. Like, oh, you know what I shouldn't do? That. But don't. But either way, so that's two quotes of his. He also mentioned another quote as well that I'll try to get to in a second, but just focusing on those as well. So my first thought, yes, I haven't gotten death threats yet. I say yet because it is sadly, wow, I cannot speak. An inevitability. Okay, I got it all. Inevitability. But I haven't gotten them yet. However, Ninja saying, hey, I'm doing this for other streamers who might get shit on. My thought is, oh, that's actually not a terrible thing. The wife stuff, the relationship stuff, I'll comment on that, but I don't want to comment on that too heavily. But initially, the idea that, oh, he's doing this to help other people, right? That's my first thought, because I didn't realize. So I talk about, this is outside of YouTube, because I don't really need to talk about this usually in YouTube videos. I talk about agency a lot, right? What is agency, right? Not a government agency. Agency being the ability to make decisions for yourself, to kind of have that power over your own body, over your own thoughts, over who you are and who you want to be, so long as nobody else gets hurt. So you can't claim agency like, excuse me, I have agency. I'm allowed to commit murder. It's like, no, actually, the person you're murdering does not have that agency. You've taken away their agency by murdering. Don't fucking do that. So, again, you would think you don't have to say that, right? But apparently you do nowadays. So the idea of having agency over yourself. So even though I talk about that and I believe that, and I want people to just live as long as nobody's getting hurt, nobody's, getting beaten up, nobody's getting hurt in other ways, when it comes to someone's agency, I believe in it wholeheartedly, but I didn't realize it's like, hey Matt, snap my own fingers. I don't want to do it on the in front of the microphone because you guys, it'll hurt your ears. But the point is hearing, myself kind of reading comments that people made online. Some people that have been in a position where they have been harassed online and have actually, and this is all genders, not just women, who have been harassed online saying, hey, I wish I didn't involve my partner in my streams, or I wish I didn't do this, I wish I didn't do that, because people would then come after me, come after my partner, come after, the partner's family and stuff like that. But then people as well who not necessarily are on the other side of the argument, they don't disagree that happens, they don't say that doesn't happen, they're not calling those people liars, but that they're also saying, hey, I'm a woman who streams, by saying you're protecting me without asking me, you are removing my agency. And as someone who's a man, I was like, oh shit, right. Because it's funny, it's just one of, and I say funny in the sense that it's one of those things where, you can sit there and say to yourself, like, well, I'm not someone who who advocates in hurting women, right? Who advocates in hurting women exclusively, or who says no woman can ever play a video game ever. Never. No, they should not, right? So no one, you don't say that. I don't say that. I assume you wouldn't say that. But we don't realize that because we're not in that position. In the same way that in some cases I would imagine that a woman might not be able to see some things from a man's perspective. I did not realize until reading these comments, like, right, dumbass, and I'm the dumbass in this case, right, dumbass, you are taking away a woman's agency if you are making comments that are essentially saying, I'm here to protect you. It's like, could you ask me about it? No, I'm here to protect you. Like, it's reminiscent of that Sailor Moon meme that's going around, where you have Tuxedo Mask saying, I helped. You have Sailor Moon going, but you didn't do anything. Right? Like, all Ninja does in this case is say, I'm here to help you. You won't get, abused by my fan base. And it's just like, but it's still happening though. And it's just not happening on your specific stream, which again hails back to the idea that he can make the decision that he wants to make. It's his reasoning that we're then going to discuss, and we are discussing right now. So I want to get some other comments he made as well, because it wasn't just that one comment. Let's see here. I want to make sure I get this right. He also mentioned that there hasn't been a single female gamer or streamer on Twitch or anything like that who's been upset about that. He said of possible pushback. I honestly think that it's just kind of like a respect thing. So here's the thing, right? So the thing is, okay, so him talking about his wife in terms of like, okay, I respect you and your decision about your wife and your family and not wanting to bring criticism like that, to your wife and to her channel. I think from that form, I can understand, people respecting it. But it's also a bold claim. Like, if I said the claim right now, see, everyone online believes in everything I'm saying. A lot of people would in the comment section immediately be like, no, we don't. So it's a little odd that not only is he saying this, but then he goes, and I would like to speak on every single streamer's and female gamer's behalf and say that no one's really been upset about that. It's like, well, they don't have to be, they're not, I assume, upset about it due to the fact that, you're saying this about your wife, that you don't want your wife to be criticized. Okay, fine. You don't want your wife to be criticized. But there's other aspects as well that I've already brought up, and some other ones I also want to bring up as well. So looking at some other points here, not the ground rule stuff, but now we move on to actual points. Being a public figure, right? So I mentioned earlier about him being a public figure, about how he's open to criticism. He's also open, or at least being a public figure means that you can change minds. Now, it sounds silly to say because I think some of us online, especially if you're at my age, around my age, you're older, maybe you're only a little bit younger. I'm 25. So when someone says that, oh, if you're being a public figure, you can change minds, it might seem silly because you might think, well, you're not going to change my mind, right? You might have already came into this video thinking, I have my opinion. I don't give a shit what Matt's going to say, what this guy on those guys play is going to say. I have my opinion, fuck off. You might be thinking that, but you have to understand that not every single person is our age age, or at least is an age that they go, oh yeah, no, I fully know, like I'm fully cognizant, I'm aware of the decisions I'm making, of who I follow, of how I follow them, and things like that. There are a lot of people online who are really young, who are kids that follow Ninja. So when it comes, and Ninja knows that, right? He can see his analytics, he can see who's following him, he can see who's in his chat. I don't think that he's gotten this big and doesn't understand who likes his content. And it's not only children, of course, but still, it is people who are formulating their thoughts, their thoughts on either the world or on opposite genders or on their own gender, who they are, and things like that. Now, is Ninja responsible for every single one of them? I don't think it's necessarily responsible in the sense that I don't think he has to sit there and go, okay, if I say shit, does that mean now that no child watching, every child that's watching is going to go, yes, now I must use that word for, he can't police every single little thing he says. But in this case, when he was doing this in front of a crowd at a conference, this wasn't an off the cuff, and I'm not saying that I would excuse it, but an off the cuff remark behind closed doors or on a live Twitch stream. He had time. He was in front of a crowd of people, and this wasn't something that could have, I don't know if he had gotten the questions beforehand, but there's a good chance that he may have, right? So he may have known, okay, this is how I feel. Someone's going to ask me about this. This is what I have to say. So when it comes to him being a public figure, when I talk about changing minds, right, what I refer to as, I'm referring to it in this way, right? What is he changing, right? Think of the children. What is he talking about with the youths? It's just this idea that he could teach people, at least youngins, real youngins, in the chat, or just who are watching his channel, hey, this is me, and this is a female streamer that I'm working with. We're not dating. And heck, his wife can pop out from, even though they have a decision, they don't want to work together either, which is, at least I actually know, I think he may have, or she may have been, they may have been on each other's channels a few times, actually, I read, but not a lot. Their brands are mostly separate, which I think is great, a great thing to do, actually. You don't want to, because God forbid something happens to the two of them and they want to split. That's a terrible thing to have, just your brand built on the two of you existing together on camera. So, frankly, I have no problem with Ninja not working with his wife. That's fine. No problem with that at all. But when it comes to, him and working with a female streamer, he can just say, this is myself and a female streamer. We are not together. We are just friends. That can happen sometimes, boys and girls. Now, I'm not saying he has to turn it into a fucking episode of Mr. Rogers. I'm just saying that, and yes, of course I'm going to say, yeah, but no matter what, people are still going to say what they're going to say. They're still going to have entire drama channels related to stuff like that. And I do believe that if you wanted to go for that angle, that would be a much bigger angle. But I think the issue, though, is, again, jumping back to agency. It takes away that agency because he's essentially saying, regardless of how he phrases it, or actually no, of course he can change it and phrase it up a certain way, but regardless of even what if he said it like this situations, it still turns it into a situation where he says, excuse me, women, I know that all of you streamers, some of you want to, some of you are really, really good at Fortnite. And, just like the men that because here's the thing too, by the way, it's not like Ninja has said, and I will not stream with any men either, which I'll get to that point a little bit later. But he says, hey, I will stream with these men who are also good at Fortnite and who want to stream with me and who will get that exposure just by me being Ninja. But women, I cannot. Sorry, I cannot, and I cannot, and for you, because you will also get harassed. And it's wait, but these women who are online understand that they can get harassment. They've been harassed before, and I'm not saying that Ninja has to give them a platform. That they are entitled to a platform. I'm just saying that if he's giving good male Fortnite players a chance to stream with him and get that kind of rub, get that exposure, why can't he give that same exposure to women, even with some of the backlash? Regardless, it's not like he's, what I said earlier, it's not like he's doing anything. He is, stopping backlash from potentially coming onto his channel or to his Twitch stream with that. But it's not like people still can't say, the thing is that to try and do that, right? To try and go, oh, people are going to do this to me, so here's how I have to pull back. The problem with that is people will pull back no matter what. I'm sorry, people will bully no matter what, or people will do stuff like that no matter what. So what do I mean by that, right? So, you know, if I said, if I was for some reason, right, worried that people would think that I'm gay, I don't care. But if I was worried about that, right, I would go, I gotta cut my hair. You guys see my hair on the videos all the time. I gotta cut my hair because because having long hair is considered feminine and bullshit like that. So I have to cut my hair so people will think that I'm straight. And it's like, okay, but then I'll be talking to someone who might be male, and people could still make those jokes. What am I to do then? I can't. Get away from me, man. With males, man. Like, what am I going to do there? Honestly, like, I'm at a loss for words because it's something that's so silly, something that I could never think of doing. So the problem is while I hate slippery slope arguments, it still does come to that. It kind of comes to that in this situation. This idea that, you know, slippery slope argument. This idea that, like, well, what comes next? Usually, it's reserved for bullshit arguments, in my opinion. You know, like, oh, well, if you can't actually argue, you go for slippery slope. Usually, but in this case, it actually, because I'm bringing up other points as well, it does reign true, though, right? The slippery slope idea, where, you know, and this is where I bring up my next point, about, you know, oh, well, you know, these women are going to get vitriol for being on my channel, so I will stream with male streamers, though. It's just like, yeah, and you're telling me that there aren't women, you know, in your comment section, or men. It doesn't have to be women. I just think about women when I was younger who would, you know, look at different anime characters, two male characters, and would ship them mercilessly, without mercy. So you know, they could easily ship him another male streamer too. So what are you going to do? What is he going to do at that point? Is he going to go, well, he's going to get vitriol. He's going to get vitriol. It's like, what? No, if shipping is the issue, which of course I would like to mention, don't ship real people, or at least don't do it online in a way that is actually hurting their real relationships. What the fuck? Again, another thing you would think that should have been said, should just be understood. But still, the thing is, though, is that what happens when now it's a male streamer? Is he going to say the same thing? Is he going to stop streaming with anyone other than himself? I highly doubt it, right? You know, what's going to happen, even though he says it's not about his wife, you know, still it does, another point, it does kind of throw his wife under the bus. Now he says out loud, no, it's not about my wife, I swear it's not. But then who's, like, what's the issue here, right? Because if the issue is, oh, I care about my wife, is it true? If it truly is just, I care about my wife because I don't want people shitting on her online, okay, or, you know, shitting on me online and throwing terrible pictures and terrible comments her way, okay. But again, can't his wife say, again, can't he, I don't know his wife, I don't know him and his wife, I don't know them, but can't you imagine his wife would say, honey, I'm fine with it though, right? I understand, I'm gonna get this no matter what, right? I'm gonna get terrible comments no matter what. You know, I don't know if she said that, maybe she has, and why does he have to pull this, actually, I'm here to protect you? Granted, it is his wife and it is their relationship, so when it comes to the two of them, they can do whatever they want to do, but it's just this idea where, like, you can't extend that to every single female streamer. Another thing too I would like to mention, opening up this Pandora's box, right, that Ninja has with these comments, where else does this go? Not slippery slope necessarily, but like, where else does this go? Like, does he have to sit back and say now, like, out loud, like, okay, no women and no trans women, trans men, okay, but no trans women, and if you're gender fluid, that's okay, but if you're presenting as male today, that's better than if you're presenting as female, then no, sorry, no gender fluidity on my stream. Like, what? Like, to me, it's just such a silly comment, because he really could have just said something along the lines of, I care about my relationship, and not really tied it in to women getting shit on the internet, not really tying it in to you know, to other things that are, you know, that happen, like how, you know, people get shipped and how that happens. I don't know, it just feels as if, yes, he has such a large following that you know, you can't control that. Of course, there's going to be bad actors, you know, no matter what age, that are just trolling and don't even believe in whatever they're doing. And that does suck. I 100% admit that. That's terrible. But at the same time, again, like I said earlier, you're going to try to hide from this, but you're still going to get shit regardless. Because guess what? Right? And at this point, I think I'm talking to Ninja. I'm really not. He's not fucking listening or watching this. But guess what? Right? So he says, I'm not going to stream with women because I'm going to get... I'm going to get, shipped, and it's going to hurt my marriage and everything like that. So I'm not going to stream with women. All right, but he makes this comment, and then those people that are trolls that were going to Photoshop women and send that to his wife and everything like that, now they're just going to troll and say to his wife, oh, so I guess your husband doesn't care about you. Now, is that true? Highly doubt it. But you know what? Trolls are going to troll. That's the thing. Trolls are going to troll. So at the end of the day, why are you even going to try and make your content in a way that you're like, ooh, I gotta be careful and minimize the trolling? Again, unless it's you really worrying about your well-being, then I understand. If Ninja was like, no, I don't want, I don't want to get hurt, or I don't want my wife to get hurt if I'm physically harmed, if I'm streaming with a woman. I don't see the connection, but it's just one of those situations where, him trying to help himself out with the trolls, they're going to troll no matter what. Right? They're going to want to hurt you regardless of what comment you make. So why are you going to sit there and deny female streamers the ability to work with you? If you think, and the thing is, I'm not even saying every female, I'm not saying that he has to only stream with women now. I'm just saying that if there are women who are in the Fortnite community who are good at Fortnite, why can't they stream with Ninja? I mean, come on. Also, the idea that what if a flirty comment gets taken out of context? You know what? Breathing will be taken out of context to shippers. 2 characters in anime have breathed, taken breaths next to each other, and you'll have people writing freaking theses, 30-page theses on why the two just love each other so much. So it's just this idea that it saves it if he just doesn't stream with women. It's just such a silly concept to me, personally. Alright guys, so as we're wrapping up this video, we do have to look at the topic at hand for this episode of Matt Rants, and we do have to ask, are Ninja's recent comments sexist? So, again, does that make him sexist? Am I looking at him and going, you sexist monster? No. But are his comments sexist? And I would argue that yes, you can, right? Because earlier on, so some of you guys are like, how dare you? And again, now's the time you can comment down below. But when I first saw this, like I said much earlier, I really thought that it was like, oh, he's helping people out who could get extremely shit on his Twitch stream. But again, it just comes back to, but why can't they make that choice whether or not they want to be, are we really, because we can't sit here and think that there's just some really, really, really good Fortnite streamers who also happen to be women who are just like, well, golly gee, getting rape threats online? I've never received that. It's just so silly to think, and I know he didn't say that directly, but it's just so silly to think that, this idea of, oh, I'm going to protect these women. You can protect your wife, and that's why when it comes to his wife, I really don't want to say that, oh, it's sexist against his wife, he doesn't value his wife's opinion, everything like that. I don't know him, I don't know his wife, I would, maybe she can make a comment on this, but I'm not going to reach her for a comment on this. That's not what this is about, right? It's not about his wife necessarily, even though yes, in his comments it's about his wife, yes, but I'm not using those, I'm taking those out of the equation because of the fact that I'm not here to shit on him and his wife. It's just about this idea of what he said in relation to streaming with women and what he thinks about, in the context that he used it in. And I just feel as if it's something that, he might, I'm not saying he doesn't respect women, personally. I'm sure he does. But his comments are sexist, yes. But you probably disagree with me, which is okay, or you agree with me, which is also okay. Either way, would love to hear what you guys think in the comment section down below. But before you comment, remember the ground rules that I set earlier in the beginning of the video. The reason why I say that is because of the fact that even though I reply to pretty much every single comment that's left on one of my videos, at the same time, I'm not going to be interested in commenting or in replying to comments where someone says free speech. First speech, free amendment. No, but First Amendment, free speech. He has the right to. To me, it makes it seem like you didn't listen to the video, you didn't watch the video. I know that he has the right to. I know that he has free speech. I know that the First Amendment exists, but none of those actually come into play when we talk about the topic of the video and we talk about Ninja's comments. None of those come into play. None of those are relevant. What's relevant is what he said, your interpretation of it. Maybe you think I'm being too harsh. Maybe you think I'm not being harsh enough. And that's, again, whatever you think, comment down below. If you didn't like this Matt Rants, don't worry. There will be another Matt Rants either later on today or tomorrow, along with a very interesting, super cool unboxing tomorrow. So that's all coming out. And then, of course, the rest of the week we'll also have really interesting, fun releases. We release stuff here on a daily basis. So if you don't like one day's worth of content, don't worry, because the next day we'll be coming with something completely different. All right, guys. So thank you all so much. Love you all. And tune in next time for another episode of Matt Rants. So see ya.